So there's a guy holding one of these. That's what this video was claiming. There's a guy holding one of these. And you see the bullet come out. So that's what that was. You saw the bullet come out. And they're saying, this is the guy right here. So he gives the hand signal. This guy comes out from behind. Watch this. So there's the guy. So they're saying that guy took the shot, and then he immediately walks backwards. Watch this.
And he walks away like nothing fucking
So there
happens.
he is. These two guys working together. He just walks away like nothing. He wasn't like freaked out. He walks away like he just did something. Again, I'm not saying this is how it happened. I'm saying this is compelling and that people should look into all these theories. So there's the shot, and here's the guy. Does the guy look weird? Does he look freaked out? Does he look weirded out? Does he look like he just witnessed an assassination? No, he looks like he's calmly walking backwards.
And then he joins the group.
Then
the family says that the photo of the young man that is coming up the stairs, which was shared, that blurry image, is definitively not Tyler Robinson. And let me just say, I never thought it looked like him. Neither did you. Okay, face looks different. Face looks more narrow. Also, that person looks taller. Every time I say, I'm like, this person is taller than Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson also appears to have full lips, even though this image is blurry. We're not looking for someone that got fuller lips, and Tyler Robinson looks broader than that individual walking, right? So I'm on board with that person walking up the stairs is not Tyler Robinson, because I feel like it was intentionally blurred. They also never gave us the footage at all, because in order to blur it, they probably needed a static image. Also, the family believes that, and this is really interesting, Tyler Robinson's apartment was staged after his arrest. Now, you will recall that I spoke to Lance's family. And one of the things that Lance's family said was, hey, we own that apartment. They pay rent to us. We've never met Tyler Robinson.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House, who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed.
3,000 people packed into one campus venue. Students shoulder to shoulder, security at every entrance, cameras everywhere. Then one sharp crack. Not a warning. Not confusion, just instant chaos. By the time the echo faded, Charlie Kirk was on the ground, and the headlines had already crowned a killer Tyler Robinson. But here's the part no one is talking about. Before the bullet, before the suspect's name hit the press, there was someone else in the frame. A figure standing just feet behind Kirk, captured in scattered clips and forgotten angles, never addressed, never explained. Please, before we proceed, don't forget to drop your comment as you listening to this new updates. We would appreciate it when you do so, because we will definitely respond to everything. We will be glad to hear your feedbacks on this report and contributions. We stand for justice. We stand for Charlie was Robinson, the shooter, or just the first name they could pin to the scene. Tonight, we're not chasing conspiracies. We're confronting the gaps, what's confirmed, what's assumed, and what the public still hasn't seen. Because the official story might not be the whole story, and the missing piece may be a person everyone overlooked. What do you think? Is the case moving forward carefully, or is progress being slowed by procedural delays? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's where we hear your thoughts and where you watching from. To stay updated on every development, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you stay informed as new updates become available. This is Detective Max, and together we stand and fight for justice. 9 days after the shooting, prosecutors named one suspect, 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson. He was charged with aggravated murder, obstruction, witness tampering, and several firearm-related counts. From the start, officials presented the case as nearly airtight. Investigators say Robinson's DNA was found on a towel wrapped around the rifle, recovered near a rooftop exit. That weapon is believed to have fired the fatal shot, though ballistic details remain sealed. Filings also mention a partially destroyed handwritten note taken from Robinson's home. It hasn't been released publicly, but prosecutors claim it points to planning. They've also cited digital messages from Discord and phone backups that they say suggest intent or involvement. Authorities call the evidence voluminous: devices, lab reports, interviews, and digital records. Robinson's defense has asked for more time to review it all. They haven't entered a plea or denied the materials exist, only how they're being interpreted. Right now, almost everything the public knows comes from charging documents, press briefings, and excerpts read in court. We haven't seen how the DNA was collected, what the note actually said, or which digital messages prosecutors believe point to intent, or whether any of it has been independently verified. So yes, the state claims there's a mountain of evidence, but very little of it has been shown outside the courtroom. That's not where reasonable doubt ends, that's where it starts. Investigators say the timeline begins above the crowd, not within. They allege the fatal shot came from a rooftop overlooking the outdoor stage, a location with a direct view of Kirk. That spot, they say, showed signs of recent use, scuffs near the edge, a shifted vent cover, and a partially accessed hatch. Within 48 hours, officials claim they connected that location to Robinson through digital traces. A Discord account tied to his phone and IP reportedly contains statements suggesting involvement. Those messages haven't been made public, but sources say they were serious enough that Robinson's own family contacted authorities. Police then searched his home under warrant and reported finding a handwritten note, partially burned and incomplete. Prosecutors say what remains mentions an act and a target, though no transcript has been released. Their physical anchor is the rifle found near the rooftop exit, wrapped in a household towel. Forensic testing allegedly matched Robinson's DNA to the towel. We haven't seen how many samples were taken, how long the gun was there, or whether contamination was ruled out, but prosecutors treat that link as the spine of their case. To law enforcement, the story runs in a straight line: rooftop access, digital messages, family alert, discovery of a note, DNA on a wrapped rifle. That's the foundation of the prosecution, and if every link holds, it's a powerful case. But timelines are only as strong as the gaps they ignore. On paper, the sequence looks clean. In the first 72 hours, it didn't unravel because of online skeptics. It wobbled because of witnesses, timestamps, and the documents meant to anchor the story. Early interviews from live streams and local outlets show people pointing in different directions when asked where the shot came from. Some described a sound near ground level at the edge of the crowd. Others heard it behind the stage, rather than above it. No single account proves anything, but together they raise the obvious question: if multiple angles were reported, why did only one become the official route? Then the entry logs. Public summaries of rooftop and maintenance access show conflicting timestamps. In one version, the last clearance scan was nearly 3 hours before the speech. In another, hallway camera clocks don't match those same access logs. That kind of clock drift, often dismissed as clerical noise, can fracture a precision-based timeline. CCTV syncing is another problem. Not all venue cameras use the same internal clock. A camera on a lower walkway might show motion at 6 unless investigators reconciled those feeds manually. Whole minutes of movement in restricted areas could be misaligned or missed completely. And digital location data isn't exact. Phone GPS pings can lag real movement by 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on route. If prosecutors rely on that data to place someone on a rooftop at a key moment, even small offsets can shift the assumed window of opportunity. Stress distorts memory. In chaotic moments, witnesses can compress or stretch time without realizing it. One person might say the shot came midway through Kirk's remarks, and another swears it happened as he stepped on stage. Both can be sincere and both can be wrong. On their own, these discrepancies seem like noise. But in a case built on minute-by-minute reconstruction, small misalignments can weaken the idea that only one path and one suspect was ever possible. And then there's the claim that won't go away, that in at least one crowd camera angle, a man appears to be standing directly behind Charlie Kirk at the moment of the shot, someone never named, questioned, or mentioned in official accounts. That idea didn't start in tabloids. It came from people scrubbing livestream clips, zooming in on silhouettes, and comparing audience-shot footage. Some insist the figure shifts just before the gunshot, others think he turns as the crowd reacts. None of it has been verified by investigators or supported in court filing. What has been confirmed publicly is different. Prosecutors say the bullet's trajectory traced back to a rooftop. The rifle, the towel with DNA, and the rooftop access point all support that version. But the real questions aren't about what prosecutors claim, they're about what the public hasn't seen. Was every piece of crowd footage collected? Have all camera angles from the venue, nearby buildings, or student streams been reviewed in timesync? And if someone was positioned near Kirk at that moment, were they ever identified or ruled out? Until those answers are clear, that gap stays open. Until prosecutors release a full visual timeline, the gap between confirmed evidence and unseen footage becomes a perfect breeding ground, not just for speculation, but for missed detail. The idea of a second figure doesn't automatically contradict the rooftop theory, but it does raise a larger question: is the state showing the full visual record, or only the parts that support one suspect? Prosecutors are confident in their case for specific reasons. DNA, and investigators say Robinson's genetic material was found on a towel wrapped around the rifle recovered near the rooftop. Unless the defense can raise doubt about contamination or secondary transfer, that's hard physical evidence a jury can hold on to. Messages and the note filings point to Discord communications tied to Robinson that prosecutors interpret as intent or admission. The partially burned note allegedly references planning or a target. Even without public release, those elements give prosecutors a structure: thought, preparation, action. Physical timeline: authorities claim they can trace Robinson's movements from rooftop access to the rifle discovery to digital activity afterward. Even if timestamps aren't perfect, they'll argue the core sequence is intact. Combined weight: when biological traces, written material, digital logs, and physical positioning all align, courts tend to view the whole picture as stronger than any single piece. To prosecutors, that reads as intent, presence, and connection to the weapon, reinforcing a lone gunman theory that starts on the rooftop and ends in custody. But strong evidence doesn't erase blind spots. Robinson hasn't entered a plea, and his attorneys keep requesting more time to review discovery, a sign the evidence pile is large, not necessarily airtight. In hearings, they've flagged issues with access to lab results, device warrants, and raw surveillance footage, none of which have surfaced in open court. Ballistics and chain of custody are still question marks. We haven't seen the full forensic path linking the recovered rifle to the moment of the shot, or the documented route it took into evidence. Even the digital messages, supposedly central to the case, are being described, not shown. Until transcripts are unsealed, the interpretation rests entirely with law enforcement. What looks definitive from the outside may be far less certain behind the scenes. With footage, lab reports, and digital records still sealed, the public can't tell whether the state's version is rock solid or just temporarily unchallenged. If this case reaches trial as is, the defense won't have to present a new theory, only weaken the existing one. And they have clear targets: chain of custody. They'll press when the rifle was first seen, who touched it, how it was stored, and whether the towel and weapon were handled separately. Any gap opens the door to contamination or misattribution. Footage gaps. If only rooftop clips are shown, the defense can demand a full visual timeline, including angles behind the stage, near access points, and around crowd movement. One missing camera view can introduce doubt. Digital context. Discord messages and the burned note will be judged by timestamps, tone, and sequence. If they're vague, unrelated, or out of sync with the event, they lose weight. Unexamined presence. Even without naming another suspect, the defense can point to figures seen near the stage, including the man some claim stood behind Kirk, and question whether investigators fully cleared everyone. Trajectory certainty. If experts can't prove the shot came only from that rooftop, rather than a lower vantage point or side angle, the single-shooter case weakens. The defense doesn't have to prove someone else did it, they just have to show the state might not know for sure. Even without official acknowledgement, the idea of another possible figure hasn't faded, it's grown. Not because people crave a twist, but because the official story still has structural gaps. Footage gaps. Most of the public is working off live stream clips, cell phone videos, and news footage. Some of those show individuals near the stage who haven't been identified or addressed. When visible people go unexplained, speculation steps in. Timing inconsistencies. The shot is said to have come from above, but in multiple videos the crowd reaction doesn't perfectly align with that claim. Some say Kirk moves before anyone reacts. Others insist the sound lands seconds later. Small details, but people notice. No visual confirmation. A single still of the rooftop access point or ballistic path could shut down rumor. Instead, the public is asked to trust sealed filings and second-hand phrasing. Unanswered proximity. If someone appears behind the victim at the moment of impact, and officials never mention who they are, staff, security, bystander, suspicion follows by default. Historical context. In high-profile cases, early narratives often evolve. Suspects get cleared, timelines shift, evidence is reinterpreted. People have seen too many first drafts fall apart to automatically accept the initial version. The second-person theory persists, not because verified footage exists, but because no complete visual record has been released to rule it out. In high-profile cases, silence isn't neutral. It creates interpretive space. Press briefings have referenced DNA, a note, and digital messages, but left basic questions unanswered. Who else was in restricted zones? Were all camera angles reviewed? And were all nearby individuals clear? Authorities haven't shared freeze frames from rooftop cameras, stage-facing security, or hallway logs. The public sees clips suggesting more movement than official timelines acknowledge. Meanwhile, claims about a man behind Kirk remain unaddressed. No one has confirmed whether he was identified, interviewed, or ruled out. The prosecution's confident language contrasts with incomplete information, multiplying doubt. Critical pieces still need daylight, ballistics trajectories, unreleased footage, full digital messages, entry and maintenance logs, and verification that everyone near Kirk was accounted for. Transparency doesn't weaken a case, it stabilizes it. Narratives form as much from what's hidden as from what's shown. Influencers and commentators have speculated about withheld footage, but no verified court filings confirm exculpatory material has been blocked. Misinterpretations arise from three sources: footage that exists but isn't public, footage that never existed, and social media clips taken out of context. Once these blur, speculation fills the gaps. Responsibility isn't about taking sides. The danger lies in spreading unverified claims or accepting official narratives without scrutiny. Real accountability exists between extremes. Press for evidence, demand transparency, and reserve judgment until data is examined in court. One man is dead, another charged. Evidence against Tyler Robinson, DNA, digital messages, rooftop access may be strong, but unanswered questions remain. Witness contradictions, camera gaps, sealed filings, timeline drift, and unexamined figures near Kirk. Truth doesn't require secrecy, and certainty can be tested without fear. Until the evidence is fully visible, the footage clarified, and all angles accounted for, the only honest stance is inquiry, not closure. Call to action: keep asking for the footage, the filings, and the content. Transparency is the baseline. We'll follow every development and break it down as new documents or videos surface. Until then, ask the questions others won't. Closure without clarity isn't just.